We are a specialized school, if you will, for career and technical courses that are a little bit more advanced and high-tech for any student in any 5 Nebo high schools. So every high school in Nebo School District. We have some amazing students here with us today. You have some of them at your table. Some of them are going to be speaking today, which I'm pretty excited about. But we are here and so grateful to be here to talk to you about our CAPS program, which is a new program we have just started at the Advanced Learning Center for our students. And I am specifically the instructor for business and marketing CAPS. We want to start off with just a short video talking about one of the students who's had an experience, not necessarily from our school, but one of the students who has had an amazing experience with the CAPS program, and then just explain to you what the CAPS program is and what it does and what maybe it can even do for you, and more importantly, what it can do for our students. CAPS has just recently come to Utah. We are one of the few areas that has a CAPS program. I want to explain to you a little bit about what CAPS is and what it does. I had the opportunity in college to have a CAPS experience, but we are actually providing these students with an opportunity to have CAPS experiences as high school students. So the purpose of CAPS program is to provide students with real-world experiences, working with partners, business partners and clients in the community to solve their actual problems. CAPS is an example of how business, community, and public education can partner to produce personalized learning experiences that educate the workforce of tomorrow, especially in high-skill and high-demand jobs. CAPS stands for Center for Advanced Professional Studies. So in our classes, we have no tests. Students love this class the best, no tests. And we don't really have any curriculum per se, though we do teach professional skills, which Rhonda Hare, who is our CAPS coordinator, will talk to you about in a minute. We are teaching students now to be ready for jobs now, right? To get a job immediately. I come from industry. I'm not a traditional teacher. You may recognize me. I'm the former Savvy Shopper for Utah County. I ran all the newspaper programs in the state of Utah through Idaho and California as well. And because of my experience in college, I was able to be qualified and feel more confident in that job. But we want these students to be prepared for that now. We have several students who have already been hired in professional settings to do real work. And it's because we're giving those students experiences and the ability to work in a professional manner that they are more prepared to fulfill those jobs and to create that pipeline of jobs for Utah. Next slide. So we actually have 4 strands, CAPS strands, in the ALC. So business and marketing, that's my strand, and that's the students that you see here today. We have computer science, digital media, engineering, and then coming this fall, we are adding architecture to a CAPS program. So they will be working with businesses in the community to solve real-world problems. What could be better than that for a student to experience? Go ahead. So at the ALC, we have a motto, and it's explore, discover, create. And our goal in every one of those classes, but specifically in our CAPS program, is to help students explore, discover, and create their passions, their path, their own successes in life. And when they take ownership of that, they become more successful. And that's what we are so excited to provide them with.
So I'm Mackenzie, and we've been working with the Unique Foundation and Defending Innocence. And basically what they're about is, I'm pretty sure it's a makeup company, but they're doing this video, or not a video.
It's an education unit.
Education unit about sexual abuse with women and giving them hope and a window, and opening that window for them. And so they were able to come and mentor us. This Tuesday, we actually were filming with them, and all of our video classmates, this was like our special thing, but we were able to just work with them and see the actual professional way that they film those videos, and we'll actually be able to edit those videos ourselves and compare it with theirs and just get that constructive criticism from them. So it's super cool. I was asked to speak a little bit about my specific role with this project. So I was asked to be the project manager, and that's basically the link between the students and the business. And so I was able to talk with them more closely and give them my thoughts and ideas and assign my classmates their mentor who I think would best fit for them and what they want to do. So it's just a really cool experience for us.
Yeah, going along with what Mackenzie said, we get to learn in a professional environment, which is just a crazy cool experience. It's not learning from a book. They came in advance, and we sat down and they had their production meeting right there with us. It was their first thing they talked about, what the cameraman needed to do, what the engineer needed to do, what the producer was doing. They explained their jobs, and we got to learn right then with them. Then we set a plan. We had responsibilities. A lot of our students helped set up, rent the space that we were filming in. We worked really closely with them, and then we got to know how a production was working. Then Mackenzie coordinated all of that with the students, what time they needed to show up. It was a really cool responsibility, like learning with responsibility. And then, yeah, soon we'll be editing the footage that we made with them. They used all new equipment. It was a really cool experience. Just they were excited about what they had, and we'll work through that, make our own little videos, compare with them, learn how a real business takes from start to completion. And I think that's a really cool opportunity for us to learn as CAPS students, and I'm excited to see what we have in the future.
So I'm Max. I am a part of the CAPS program as well for business, and I am working as project lead for a company called Tap This Way, and we are creating a pretty cool thing for them. I'm supposed to talk about kind of what we're doing. So we have decided, they've come to us with an issue that they have had. They have bins, as you guys know, outside of schools and in local businesses, and we're just coming up with a more efficient way to kind of regulate when those bins are full, if there's crap outside the bins they need to clean up, stuff like that. And so we are coming up with a pretty cool application that you can download on your phone. It's pretty awesome. And another, I guess I'll talk about my experience as well. So I was in CAPS last semester as well, and it was a blast. I worked with a lot of companies. I've worked with, this Tap This Way is not my only project. We've done multiple projects. And an awesome thing is we coincide with different CAPS strands. So like when she named all those CAPS strands, I definitely don't know how to make an app, but computer programming does, and so we've been able to work with them a lot into getting different things. We work with engineering, so what's awesome about the CAPS program is we all just kind of come together to complete different things. It's not just business is going to complete these things, and then computer programming, then engineering, we all come together to do one big project, and it's actually pretty awesome, so that's...
U Impact is University Impact. What they do is they do social impact investing, so they look at companies around the world to find companies that could change their area for the better, whether that be economically, environmentally, or socially. And the way they do this is they find companies that, so one such that my brother told me about was there was a company in Africa that they take waste and they pay people to collect the waste, and then the cities are cleaner, people have jobs. Like, it's just really cool. So what we're doing for them is we're looking at Africa as a continent, and every single country, we're finding their GDP, their murder rates, their laws for trade internationally and locally to find the country that is most ready for social impact investing, so that when they go to invest in that country, that the people there are ready and that economy is ready to just boom. So, yeah. And my experience with this also is I actually have been hired on at University Impact, which is kind of crazy because I'm a high school student and they hire from Harvard and Yale. So, yeah. And I'm doing a project for them I'm editing some of their legal documents if you want to become like a donor or an investor. So, yeah.
I think probably one of my favorite projects that we've done in CAPS is for the company Yuhin, based in Murray. We were able to help them to facilitate a conference that they had in healthcare technology. When was that? November? Yeah, this last November. So we had two different teams. One of them sought out healthcare nonprofits to invite to attend the conference, and then the other team was looking at healthcare for-profit businesses to sponsor the event. And then in the end, we all came together to the actual event, and we were speaker handlers, as well as a couple of our film students filmed the whole thing. As you can see, I think that's Jackson right there. He stood for about 4 hours holding that video camera, just because we had some difficulties with the tripod. But yeah, so I love the CAPS program just because of like the connections that we make through it, and what we're able to actually do for the community. Like with this project with UHIN, we were able to meet some pretty important people. We down in the bottom right there, you can see a picture of a couple of students with Lieutenant Governor Brian Cox. We were able to meet with him. He was Spencer Cox, that's the one. I don't know why I said Brian. First name that came to mind, I guess. But Spencer Cox, that dude. So we were able to meet him. He was one of the speakers. We got to talk to him for a little bit after he spoke. Yeah, so it makes connections, as well as I am being considered for an internship with UHIN right now. So it gives us opportunities after high school as well. And on top of that, I just love the feeling of accomplishment that we get. Like on the drive home, it was kind of hard to fathom, like we just helped to run an 8-hour conference for a healthcare company that had like 250 plus attendees. So yeah, it's a pretty cool program.
Thank you so much for having us. I'm Rhonda Hare. I'm the CAPS coordinator here in Nebo School District. I don't know how many of you are parents, but right now, my little mama heart is just so proud of these kids. Like I'm almost to tears that I am so thrilled for the opportunities that our kids have had to grow in ways that they could not get any other way, other than people like Wendy saying, here, let me mentor your students and let me help you. And together, we are all doing great things because of that. So one of the things that we really focus on with our CAP students is we take them through about a 3-week professional skills program. And hopefully you can see some of these kids are a little bit nervous. This is a little bit unsettling, but they did a great job. And one of the reasons why is because we take them through these professional skills, and each of these skills has a unit that we work on with them. We also have some awesome mentors that come in and interview our students and review their resumes with them, and even like Wendy and Jody and Lillian sitting down with the students at the table and helping them have that experience of knowing how to run a meeting. Are you impressed, Wendy, with how that meeting goes? And you know what? We, as the adults and the teachers, we are not involved. We turn this over to Mackenzie. We turn this over to a student, Max. He runs the meetings. He does the updates on the board so we know what's going on. But it's amazing what they can do. I'm very proud to have Cedar up here by me. Come on this side of me, next to your work here. So Cedar was one of the students that recently worked with Mayor Christensen to come to a place where we all loved this new Salem City logo. And it was quite the process, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was.
So how did it feel when you started that process?
It was really, it was really weird working with a business or with a city themselves to figure out what they wanted and how they wanted it. And it got really confusing talking between the two, but it was working with the business, so it gave me a lot of experience when it came to real world like solution latest.
And so how did you handle the frustration of so many edits? Like so many times it was back to the drawing board, buddy.
I kind of just kept my head down and just kept working on it. I'd get home from 5th period, which is CAPS, which was my Salem. I'd work on for the Salem City logo. I'd get home and I'd sit down and I'd keep working on it. And I talked with a whole bunch of different people in my family, asked my grandma because she's a digital artist, and they gave me a whole bunch of pointers. And I just kept my head down and worked on it.
Okay, and now we've arrived. How does that feel?
Feels awesome.
Thank you, Cedar. We are really proud of your efforts. So how else could a student gain that kind of opportunity without that kind of, to have this setup and framework? CAPS is a nationwide network, and so, well, they actually are now in India. So we are very fortunate to be a part of that network and learn from those who have already gone through the growing pains to get where we're at today. And one of the things that we learned from one of the other programs is that one of the strengths that we can bring is mentors. So as you can see up here, Mrs. Ewell is pretty amazing with word work. And won't you be my mentor? So one of the reasons that we have been so successful is people that are willing to come in and mentor students. And what does that look like? Sometimes it's less than an hour a month. It could be just coming in and reviewing resumes. It could be coming in and doing mock interviews. It could be taking a look at a project and just giving some input to these students. The most powerful thing is that they have an opportunity to interact with you, and every positive interaction that they have makes them more confident and puts them in a position to be able to do these things on their own without us. And it doesn't take long for them to take those traits on. So if you're interested in mentoring, come join this amazing group of students who have a love for learning. And just like Cedar said, do you know what? They don't stop when the bell rings. And we don't actually have bells at the ALC, but they don't stop. They go home and they worry about these things. And Mackenzie gets a notice that a student cancels, and it's like hours before production and a student cancels. But you know what? Mrs. Ewell and I didn't worry because that was on Mackenzie. And did she come through? You bet you, she did. And I bet you all have employees who don't always come through at the last minute like they should. And we are so fortunate to be able to training these students to be able to perform at peak ability. And we appreciate your time here today. We are very busy with our CAPS program. Wendy keeps us very busy, and Mayor Christensen keeps us very busy. But we've got a lot going on. But if you're interested in more information or being a mentor or talking to us about a project, we typically say that we would like to take a look at the 15th thing on your to-do list. So it's got to be something down there that is not time sensitive. We have these students about 2 hours a week, and they can accomplish a lot more than we can in 2 hours. They have young, bright minds, and they don't see any of the limitations that we have come to place upon ourselves, sometimes by stress and all those kinds of things. But these students, they just come at it from all different directions, and they are seeing so much success. So we do have just a couple of minutes if anybody has a burning question. So the question was about what age student. This program is for the 5 high schools in Nebo School District, and once they are in 10th grade, they can come to the ALC. So to participate in Capstone, like for business CAPS, they would need to take entrepreneurship or business law or some type of business class, even at their home high school, and then they would qualify as a junior or a senior to come take the business capstone class. So Mrs. Ewell teaches entrepreneurship, business law, and social media marketing. And those classes are all sophomore classes, so a sophomore can come and take those. And for Spanish Fork and surrounding schools, those students are bused from their home high school. So as long as they take the prerequisite class, then they're eligible to participate in the CAPS classes as they are a junior and a senior. If you have a student that you want to get registered for next fall, the high schools have already turned in all of their course requests to us. So the best thing to do they should still be able to pick up a card at their counseling office. If they can't, you're welcome to come in 8 to 4 to the ALC and grab a course request then. We're taking those requests now, and we are filling up really fast. So the question is about internships, and we are over time, so if anybody gets up and leaves, I totally understand, because we're all on a schedule here. So as far as internships, Nebo School District has an internship program for students. It's not through the CAPS program, it's just the traditional internship program. In my perspective, these students are gaining amazing experiences doing it through CAPS. And under the CAPS umbrella, we can send students out to do internships at your business. The thing that we don't want to do is have one student come for an entire semester during the same time of the day, every day of the week, seeing the exact same thing over and over and over. I want these kids to have a gamut of experiences. And so under the CAPS umbrella, we can do those things, and depending on what your needs are and the student's availability, all of those things, the sky's the limit. We can do that. We would love to have you come do a tour. I'm always available. I live right there in Salem, and I will meet you after hours if that's best for you. It's always best to come when students are there. So if you have a long lunch hour and you come at noon, our classes start back up at noon, and want to walk through the building for 45 minutes, pull your kid out of class. It's worth it to come see what we do during the day there. Yes, that would be great. Either Amy or I would be happy to help accommodate that. I do several tours a week. People just drive by and say, I've heard this is an amazing building. A guy from Delta came in the other day and it's like, I've heard you guys do good things here. I'm like, let's go see. Let's see what we do here. Well, thank you for your time. We appreciate you having us today, and we look forward to getting to know a lot of you better and working with you. Thank you.